So another thing is issue of parenting interference. Yes, that's a big problem in in-law relationship. And this problem is stemmed from where an in-law wants something this way, and maybe the wife or the husband, who is another member of a new member of the family, wants it done in another way. Okay, I'll still come back to issue of child grooming, bringing up children, where maybe the grandparents, is a normal thing with them. They over pamper their grandchildren. They allow them to just do whatever they like as long as it pleases the children. And most times this freedom is not good for children. Situation where maybe the wife refuse to give a child, maybe let me say candy, and the child keeps crying for it. You see, if the grandparents are there, they will be insisting you have to give it to the child, just allow them to enjoy childhood and things like that. Forget that, they will even go as far as telling you that they had this opportunity to enjoy these things in their time. There was nobody to stop them from enjoying these things, that is part of childhood. You should let them, or even play. When they are playing too much and you are not comfortable with it, they will, as parents, sometimes you complain and say you don't want this thing done like this. If grandparents are around, they will tell you, ah, just let them be, just allow them to enjoy their life. Why some of they forget that some of the things they did those days are no longer working in our time. Some of the kind of things they ate, they had the freedom to eat maybe sweet things as they like in those days. Now a lot of diseases and sicknesses are coming up daily. So people are looking for healthier ways of eating, healthier ways of bringing up their children. So in-laws should know when to interfere in issues of parenting, because it can be so annoying when your, for example, your child is misbehaving and you are trying to caution the child, and somebody is telling you you don't have a right to caution them. I mean, you, if you don't, it's either you have your own children or you don't have them, you have them someday. So you should reserve all the energy you use to fight the owner of the child for when you have your own children. You can bring them up the way you want, so that everybody can have peace. Even when you want to correct, we are not saying it's bad for you to correct. There should be an approach, there should be a manner you present such cases. You don't come and try to be lording over another person in marriage, because marriage does not work like that. The Bible say two cannot work together unless they agree. So anything that has to do with marriage, it has to do with good communication, it has to do with understanding. Once there is none of this, the marriage will not work out. Another problem is issue of financial responsibilities. In marriage, you cannot do without seeing financial responsibilities, because marriage has to do with expansion of a family, and needs will come up. You will need finances to take care of those needs. You cannot do it without proper planning. Sometimes the in-laws, they have this high expectation on whoever was their child. Probably he or she was their breadwinner. So the moment he gets married, they still want the child to be performing all the financial roles he or she has been performing in the family. And once that is not forthcoming, battles will start. They will be fighting, there will be confrontation. Sometimes it even leads to violence. And for African settings like this, some go as far as going to put their hands into some negative vices, just to make sure that they get back at the, either the new wife or the husband, whom they feel is the one that is making their child not to be able to meet up with their needs. So all of these things are things that If there's a good communication and understanding, there will be no need to fight about it. Then I want to talk about other aspect, like you who is a new person in that family. Don't live your life seeking approvals. Don't live your life seeking approvals. Yes, this comes from the attitude of pretense. There are some people who come into marriage with attitude of pretense, things that they cannot do naturally, things that they are not comfortable doing. When they come into marriage, probably because they want to be accepted by the family, they may tend to want to behave as if they can do it. You know, for example, you see it's common with the ladies. I know some men too pretend, but it's common with the ladies where you see a young lady who wants to get married to a man during the courtship. When she gets to the house of the in-laws, things that she cannot do naturally, you see her trying to go out of her way to do it just to please them, just to create an impression. Maybe she has never been to the farm in her life, and it happens that the family, they are farmers. She may come and want to carry every of the bodies. She may want to create an impression for them that she can do these things, thereby breaking her wits end to meet up with their expectations. Now you've started it. Once you get married and you come into the house, they expect you to continue with things like this. If you can no longer do it again, problems will start. So it is better when you come into a marriage, you come as you are, come with your personality. Let everybody know who you are. Present yourself as you are. Don't try to impress anybody. Don't try to be another person, so that as they are seeing you, if they are not going to be comfortable with it from the onset, they will tell you they don't like you, and you will find your way. Not for you to pretend. Why some in-laws, they pretend a lot. While you are coming to them, they may pretend they love you, they love your way of dressing, the way you talk and everything, whereas they are not comfortable with maybe your lifestyle, maybe the way you do your makeup, maybe your cooking method. They are not comfortable with it. They may just be pretending as if everything is okay. Then when you behind your back, they may be say, okay, when she comes to the house, since this is what our daughter or our son wants, let's take it like that. When she comes, we'll try to correct him or her. But at the end of the day, when the woman comes, she would have had the impression that, okay, these people know me and they've accepted me, that this is how I dress, this is how I talk, this is how I eat and do things. Then you present another thing entirely on the table. You want them to turn, you want them to change to your own definition of a wife or a husband. It's not going to be easy. It will bring about a lot of problems and negativity into the marriage. So as in-laws, we should all know that there is nobody that is perfect. Everybody has his or her own bad side. So when you are meeting the person for the first time, what he or she is doing that is not right, is better for you to let them know. Sometimes by talking to them through good communication can make some people to change their attitude, because some people may be doing things and they don't know that this thing is even wrong or bad. When you tell them, they will now try to work on themselves. Not that you pretend or you present the matter the wrong way. It's not going to help things. Then stop being perfect. Some people come into marriage acting all perfect. There is nobody that can be okay. Nothing anybody does around them that will be good. If as a man, your in-laws, you visit them, no matter how they try to please you, you are not comfortable with it, you are pretending, you are acting, if they cook, you don't agree that their method is okay, you feel you are more civilized than them, you are more educated than them, you try to insult them and all those kind of things. That marriage will not work. That is not a good way to build in-law relationship in marriage. So another thing is that we should learn to set respectful boundaries. Yes, it is important to set respectful boundaries in marriage. When from the beginning of the marriage, know when you are supposed to put your mouth into issues, know when you are not supposed to. Anyone you are not called into, don't go there, don't put your mouth in such kind of matters. Don't invade people's privacy. If you are doing something like that, you will not earn your respect. And everybody wants respect in marriage and in their in-law relationship. So for your own peace of mind also, you should learn to respect the other person. Then we should be assertive. It's important to be assertive. As a newly married, you may come into the family feeling intimidated. That is not a good way to have a good in-law relationship. You have to be confident in yourself, know when to take your own decisions by yourself. I'm not saying you have to bypass anybody in order for you to achieve your goals or do things, but you should know when you need to do things for yourself. And even if you want somebody to advise you, there's a way to go about it. You don't always run to people seeking for approval here and there. At the end of the day, you will not be comfortable in that marriage. And when you realize yourself, you want to correct things and start doing things yourself, it may now look as if you have changed, you became somebody else because you wanted to pass a negative message. So for the sake of your peace of mind, be assertive, be confident in yourself, take your decisions by yourself as regards your home, without having to drag anybody into any kind of drama. Then don't be the type to always initiate fights between you and your in-laws. There are some men and women that are very, very troublesome. Every day in their marital journey, they are either having problem with their sister-in-law or their brother-in-law, or even with their spouse at home, because they have the character of initiating quarrels all the time. It should not be like that. It is more cheaper to maintain peace than to maintain hatred and misunderstanding and disunity. So don't be that kind of person who is always quick to pick quarrels and make trouble. Then have a forgiving heart. For your own peace and for your marriage to last, have a forgiving heart. Some people are there that what they did to them since 10 years ago is bottled up in their stomach. The one that was done yesterday is there bottled up in their stomach. If you want to keep all account of everything that went wrong between you and somebody, you will be a bitter soul. You will not relate well with people, and this is not a good thing for marriage. If an issue comes up between you and your in-laws, you have to be open-minded. You have to just learn how to approach such matters with your in-laws. Tell them you are not okay with the way this thing is. Discuss it with them rather than hating on anybody and always keeping malice. There are some people that are in their marriages for years, they don't relate with their sister-in-laws, they don't relate with their fathers and mother-in-laws. Instead of letting what has happened just go and moving on, they keep these grudges until it gets to a point where the marriage will break. It's safer for you to even have a working relationship with your in-laws, because whenever things get difficult, your issues, some kind of issues come between you and your husband, and you cannot resolve it. The best people to help you resolve such matters are your in-laws. So if you want your marriage to work, you must have a workable relationship with your in-laws. Then in-laws too, some are very annoying. They can make unnecessary trouble. They are the ones who want to dictate what kind of life the husband of their daughter should live, what kind of life the wife of their son should live. It's not supposed to be so. Marriage is not bondage. Marriage is supposed to be a place where you grow. It should be a place where you know you were in one family before, so when you enter marriage, it means God has expounded you. You have more people around you to talk to. You have more people around you who can advise you. You have more people around you who can even share your bills. Yes, where the relationship is good, children upbringing will now be done from both ends. But in some in-laws, they just try to frustrate the new couples by loading them with responsibilities upon responsibilities, problems upon problems. At the end of the day, the marriage becomes a battlefield, because the in-laws are the ones that are they are igniting the problem in the marriage every day. So if you are an in-law with that kind of attitude, change. Because if you are the parents of the bride, the husband or the wife, and you are the one causing them trouble, what is your gain? You married your own husband and you lived with him. You married your wife, you lived with her till your old age. Why won't you just allow your children enjoy their marriages instead of creating problem here and there? If you are a sister-in-law or a brother-in-law, and what you are good at doing is going between the husband and the wife and causing problems every time, simply because you feel you don't like the person your brother married or the person your sister married. If you are not married, you must definitely get married someday. Whatever you do to somebody, it will come back to you. And if you are married and you don't want another person's home to be peaceful, you want to be in your house, dictating in your house, and at the same time going into another person's home to control their life there, it can't work that way. There will not be peace in that marriage. Then you are the enemy of that marriage, and it should not be like that. What goes around will eventually come around, because such kind of people, their own marriages, their in-laws dare not come close to their marriage, but they will be making trouble in the marriages of their siblings. Instead of giving them room to enjoy their home, you want to destroy it. It's not a good thing. Let's have a change of attitude when it comes to interfering in marital issues, because these are the reasons why so many homes are broken in our society today. Every day you hear of divorce here and there. You hear of divorce, it does not end in a particular place. It moves from the secular world even into the churches of today. It's not a good thing. And just like we are discussing, the major origin of these problems, they emanated from in-laws. In-laws who cannot mind their business, in-laws who cannot help to foster peace in the homes of their sons or their daughters, and so on and so forth. So it's not a good thing. God's standard of marriage is not a marriage that will end in divorce or separation, or where the man and the woman they will claim to be married outside, and inside they are not actually married. The man will be going out to misbehave and the woman will be going out to misbehave. That is not the reason why God ordained marriage. We should stop giving those who are still single a negative impression about marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing. I can tell you that I am married, and to the glory of God, I have been married for 9 years now, and I can tell you that marriage is a beautiful thing where there's companionship. You have somebody to laugh, you have somebody to cry with. Sometimes you just want to feel loved, you cry. So that is it. Then we should not always accept the idea that you have to sacrifice. You know, some in-laws will tell you as a woman, yes, you are supposed to sacrifice for your marriage. Yes, marriage is sacrifice, but there is a limit to the sacrifice that you can give to a marriage. And it's important for the in-laws to know. If for example, in issue of conception issue should not be one-sided. In our society today, once there is no child in a marriage, everybody focus on the woman and begin to call her barren, begin to say she's the one that cannot conceive. I don't know much about science, but the little I know, birthing a child is a sole function of both the man